Saudi Arabia's drive for tourism has seen the sector grow massively, with 32 million passengers per year. With that number set to increase, infrastructure needs to be put in place, and top of that list is a new airport, Riyadh's King Salman International Airport.
When we're talking about largest airports, actually we are challenging the teams in order to look that instead of deploying more infrastructure, with the technology today, we should make it smaller because we should be more efficient.
Joining us now is Marco Mejia, the CEO of the airport. Welcome, Marco.
Thank you very much, and welcome.
So tell us about the project. Where are you with the project?
So at this moment in time, we finalized the concept master plan. We're moving into the detailed master plan, and we're accelerating some of the assets in order to cope with the demand. So as you mentioned in your introduction, Riyadh is growing rapidly, and we need to be sure that we have the right infrastructure in place for the next years to come.
So what time scale are we talking about? When do you plan to be finished?
You know, in an airport, this is a really interesting question. In an airport, you never look into the short term. You always look into the long term. So this is an airport that has to give us the next 75 years in the growth for the city and support the growth and the economy for Riyadh. We are looking into the different phases. It's based on the international commitments that the kingdom is having. So we have different benchmarks in the next years in order to have the capacity required for that growth. So we will have a plan for 2027, 2029, 2030, 2032, and 2034, that those are the key years for the kingdom to grow.
It has been reported that it will be the largest airport in the world. What does this actually mean?
We don't concentrate too much into being the largest airport in the world. What we want to bring is the Riyadh identity and a customer-centricity. That's for us is something that is extremely important and for the kingdom in order to have an airport that is different. It's an airport that is taking more the human aspect. We want to humanize the aviation sector. So in that way, we want to transform aviation more than having the largest airport in the world.
How do you plan to humanize it?
So we're going to create spaces that are going to allow more the interaction between, for instance, the passenger and their families. So, you know, we're trying to look in how to bring the processors closer to the gates. So in that way, you don't need to separate from your relatives at the security checkpoint. You can spend more time with their families. And at the same time, for us as an airport, that will help us to create induced revenues from non-commercial activities. When you create those non-commercial revenues, that is going to bring opportunities for the airline to bring more passengers into Riyadh.
But how many passengers do you expect to have annually, and how does this compare to other airports, just to have an idea of the scale?
We're targeting to have 54 million passengers by 2027, then in a projected growth for 95 million passengers in 2030. So that gives you an idea. So for instance, the largest airports in the world right now is Atlanta, manage 105 million passengers. So in this case, we're going to have an airport that is going to be in that size into the future.
To what extent do you feel the airport will contribute to Saudi's vision to enhance tourism?
This is not just an airport that as we mentioned before, is going to be the largest. It's an airport that is going to contribute to the economy as the GDP grows. At the same time, it's going to generate more employment into the airport. We're looking that we're going to create more than 100,000 jobs positions into the airport as we grow. So the airport is going to be a catalytic aspect of the support of the tourism strategy. We want to create as well a destination airport. This destination airport is going to be another attraction more into the Vision 2030 that the leadership of the kingdom is looking for. So it's going to be an iconic element that is going to be a differentiator anywhere in the world. Everybody will recognize this airport as a unique feature of Riyadh.
You did mention the human aspect. What about the other benchmarks that you're hoping to set, such as sustainability, AI, and all the advancements of technology?
Absolutely. So let's talk about, for instance, sustainability. Sustainability, our buildings are going to be LEED buildings. So we will have a design, construction, and operations that is going to achieve and is going to follow the best practices right now. In the civil aspects, we're going to have ambition that at the same time that give us in the same way it give us what is going to be the best aspects on infrastructure and civil aspects. Regarding technology, this is a really important point for us. Technology is bringing more efficiency to our lives. So when we're talking about largest airports, actually we are challenging the teams in order to look that instead of deploying more infrastructure, with the technology today, we should make it smaller because we should be more efficient. So when you see in the way that we should be processing passengers, when you look at the checking halls, do we really need the size of checking hall that it used to be in the past?
When you say smaller, you mean smaller in size?
Smaller in size. So in that way, you become an airport, number one, that is more human-centric. The spaces are going to be more to the size of our human size. But at the same time, you don't need to deploy too much infrastructure that then later on it's going to be a capital expense that is going to become an operational cost, and then you are not going to utilize properly. So we want to be sure that everything encompassed with the technology, how we can have better processes for our passengers without the need of deploying too much infrastructure.
It's been said that nowadays tourism and travel are more about experiences than anything else. Are you trying to bring in that sense in the airport as well?
Absolutely. I believe as a passenger now you have choices. So when you are traveling, you have the choices, for instance, to connect in a specific airport. It could be because the time frame that you have to make the next connection, or it could be the experiences that the airport can bring to you. So it could be experiences in the food and beverage, it could be experiences on the retail, or it could be experiences on the entertainment, or it might be the experiences when you feel how you are treated when you come through. That creates a big differentiator where to connect. So, I believe for us, we are in a really important stage where an airline like Riyadh Air and an airport like King Salman, we are developing, we are growing together in the same direction with one main objective: customer-centricity.
How many changes do you expect in the coming years in the industry, both good and bad?
We see that in the industry, in the good aspects, we will continue growing. The tourism around the world is continue growing. It's gonna continue very strong. Regarding what could go, something that is, of course, is a concern for us is, like the situation, for instance, with Boeing right now. That now they're coming out from the quality issues. Now they're moving into labor dispute. So for us, of course, it's a concern as an overall in the aviation industry, because this is going to put a lot of pressure on the airlines in order to retain. How are they going to create more capacity? So for us as an airport, it's really important that the airlines continue growing exponentially.
With everything you said, you believe that your airport is going to set the benchmark for all other airports in the world. How confident are you going to deliver on this?
We have planned this. This is not something that just started 1 year ago. We have been planning this airport for the last 3 years. We know and we're confident on what we're delivering. We know that the aviation industry actually, in airports, specifically in airports, we haven't evolved too much in the last 20 years. And one of the clearest examples that I always said is one of the biggest advancements that we did in airports was we passed from having 125 passengers per hour in a security lane to process 385 passengers. But does that make a change? Or the only reason why we did it is because we realized that if we give you 15 more minutes in post-security, you are going to spend more dollars for us. But we never ever consider how is your experience as a passenger that day. What is the differentiator for you to travel as a business person, to travel with your family, or to travel with your parents? You are a different passenger every time you come through the airport. This is something that we are committed to do. We want to put that customer centricity at the heart of our decisions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much.